everybody, and welcome to another Sunday night frequency meditation. I hope everybody's had a great week. We are December 1st now, so the old Christmas tree, well, it was up a while ago. But now we're getting into that whole December and also the end of the year. You know, that final month, we're ending the year, we're bringing things to a close. And that's what we also do in our own personal lives. I've been very encouraged as of recently. I've noticed in the different various medias, the topic timelines, that's popping up, time. And whenever something drops into this consciousness, that's what happens, is that the topic becomes activated and that very different forms, and what you think like, oh, everyone's talking about this, they must know each other or they're just hearing each other. Not at all. Is that it's coming to the consciousness, this topic called timelines. And I'm encouraged because everything that I receive and everything that on my journey, it's really all about timelines and realities. And certainly when it comes into looking at our lives and looking at ourselves, that healing, transforming, fixing paradigm doesn't resonate anymore with me. And as this new topic of timelines is coming in, it seems like a lot of people now are waking up to this. And what is a timeline? Well, simply is that it's, as I've always said, is what I do more is much more sub-quantum physics and spirituality, because I'm not connected to any doctrine or dogma. I'm not for or against, but I'm fascinated by the mechanics, how we create ourselves here. And I'm fascinated by that because that, in my own experience, has really shifted and moved the needle for me. And I've done a lot of other things for 4 decades now, and there is nothing like by coming in and starting to gain that awareness, which comes to you. You know, we read things, we listen to things, that's information from an outside source, which is going through all of their filters, all of our filters, and then we go, oh, that's an idea. But then that's converted, especially with the work we do here at Space-Time, that is then converted, if you like, interpreted into knowledge. And we receive knowledge from within, from our timeless self, which there's obviously minimal filters there to process it through. So what's coming in is these timelines now is that we're able to understand actually how we create ourselves, what timeline, what reality we create ourselves in, and then also starting to gain the awareness that there are, well, for our purposes, because we'll never get to that number anyways before, but let's just say there are infinite realities out there, infinite versions of you out there. Only one can be activated at this time, and this is the one that's here right now. But we are such powerful, brilliant beings that we actually can move into different timelines, different realities, where there are better options there for us. There's a better version of us there for us, a version that's freer, not full of lack and sacrifice, control, but a version that's freer. And then as a result of that, of course, our outside world, our outside environment shifts to be compatible to that. So let's go into a meditation. Let's start exploring timelines and how we can actually bring awareness to us, bring awareness for us from our higher self, to see how then we can actually start adjusting to different realities, tuning in to different realities. It's not that we go anywhere. You know, that's why I always have a difficulty with the vocabulary of higher, lower. We go to our timeless self, we go to another reality. No, everything's happening all at once right here. But what we do, just like a TV station, you're watching one TV program, but you know there's countless others behind the scene, all operating, but you can only activate one at a time. And it's very similar to us with our realities, that we only have one we're watching right now, but we do have the power to tune in, like a station, tune into another reality, being stationary right here, and start to activate that. So let's go into a meditation, see and explore that more. And with all of that, I hope everybody has a really great week. And as we come here to this place right now where we are, we notice our body. Notice you in your body. And then notice the environment around you, everything that's outside of your body. And taking a deep breath in to a count of 4. holding that breath to a count of 4, and then through the mouth, exhaling that breath to a count of 4. When I say take a breath in, it can be to your count, it doesn't matter, but just observing and noticing those 3 movements. Breath in, hold, and then exhale. And as we notice our whole body in its entirety, the skin around our body, and just where the skin stops, that's where your outer environment begins. And then everything inwards from the skin is your inner environment, that's you in physical form. Taking another breath in. And it's a good idea to be in our body, reside here in this physical density that has been created. This physical body is the expression, our life is an expression of our higher self, our timeless self. So this time as we take a breath in, let's breathe in from the core of the earth, nature's frequencies, just imagining you being able to take in these pure frequencies with every breath. I connect to nature because in this density, this 4D that we're all in here, those are the purest frequencies. That help align us, bring us into that synchronicity that nature so beautifully demonstrates. There's other frequencies out there in other realms, but they're not as compatible in this physicality where we are. So the purest that I know is nature, perfectly present, perfectly defined. So as we notice our shoulders, and then coming down through the spine, to the hips, to the thighs, the shins, top of our feet, bottom of our feet, and then from there let's just sink down. Let's just drop down into the core of the earth, using your mind's eye, using imagination, however you wish to. It's giving direction to our timeless self, that this is what we're wishing to tune into, these frequencies. And just noticing you in the center of the earth, of nature, immersed, being surrounded by it, and letting these frequencies, these pure frequencies, billions of years, the active gravity, purify them, just like the active gravity letting you drop down to the core of the earth without having to do any motion. Taking another deep breath in from the core of the earth, just being infused with these frequencies around you, you in the center. It's the safest place to be. Here you're nurtured, protected, centered, and notice you and your body in the center of this earth, this point. If you like, it's the ideal timeline to reside in. So what are timelines? There's a lot of talk about that out there. Timelines. Noticing your spine, noticing you and your spine in your body centered in the core of the earth. As centered as you can be. We can never be centered with precision in the core of the earth. We couldn't create density there. So we're in some quadrant at some time,
right now. We're at some quadrant off center. And that point can be referred to as a timeline. It's okay if you don't understand this at the mind level. It will come to you. I'm opening up the conversation between you and your higher self. Bringing in these frequencies of nature that just by our very thought, that's how powerful we are, how brilliant we are as beings, just by our very thought, it brings us into alignment and harmony, defines us better, and we come into the present moment. As we notice our body in the center, let's come to the mind brain, the brain in the head. We have other brains in our body, but let's just focus here right now. And noticing the left side of the brain, noticing the right side of the brain. Those two different, very different functions. One being very analytical, the other one's very creative. And then just coming into the middle, where they both merge, fuse together again with such synchronicity and harmony, letting us do these functions that we do here. And let's rest right here. So our environment, we're surrounded in the center of the earth with these nourishing frequencies, aligning us, harmonizing us. And then our focus point is in that center part of the brain. We just stay here. This is the quietest place to be. There's less noise. And so in this place, we're able to listen and receive. And this is where we want to be. So there's those two reference points, one being in the core of the earth, fused by these frequencies, centered, and then from the perspective, our point of view from that center point in our brain, like this is our launch pad in expanding. So taking another deep breath in. And let's just hang out here as we bring in these frequencies of nature stronger. We are nature, but we're also have these technologies that only humans have. So in fact, we can even bring in more potency to these frequencies as we settle down in, and just keeping note of those two reference points. Noticing how you're feeling, the centeredness, the stillness, the mind less active than before you came on this call. So what we do here with space-time is, it's not about, if you like, talk therapy to heal you, heal the issues you're suffering from. I don't go into detail about how to make more money, how to attract that perfect partner. I don't have any dogmas, doctrines, because where we go is outside of space and time. We go before all these frequencies were created. These rule sets, especially that are in the mass consciousness that we are part of because we're here. So we don't do that. We don't fix, heal, transform even anything. What we do, going back to timelines, as we take a breath in, noticing the center of our brain, noticing us, cozy, secure, centered in the core of the earth. What we do is that we move timelines. Timelines are, as you notice where you were when we said come centered in the core of the earth, noticing what quadrant you're in. Well, that's just what timeline you're in, how far away from that center of the universe, the center of earth you are. And it's from here, this launch pad as mentioned, is that from here, as we take a deep breath in, we expand spherically. We're in a sphere. We expand spherically. And when we do that, more possibilities are opened up for us as the sphere is larger. And cover more area in space and time. And equally so, more of our filters become in our vision. We receive the awareness of the filters we're running. So as we expand, we ask our higher self, how can I be more centered? And what awareness do I need to have of what programs, filters I'm running, blind spots, that I'm running my life through? And perhaps I've always been running my life through these filters. Well, let me have awareness of what I can disconnect from. And then also equally, as there's more possibilities, what frequencies can I bring in to help me take advantage of those possibilities with precision? As we breathe in, core of the earth's frequencies, cleansing us, aligning us, harmonizing us, helping shift us to a different timeline, a more optimal timeline. But we need to go through this process because every timeline we get closer to the center, each one is more and more pristine, highly sophisticated. And we can't come in with our dirty feet, our dirty shoes, if you like. So we need to clean up, drop those programs, those filters that we receive the awareness we have, drop them, so then we can come into the next level of ourselves. And if you like timelines, we don't go anywhere. You know, there's a lot of misconception about the higher, the lower. We go there. Seek our higher self up there. We're outside of time, we're outside of space. So we're perfectly here, still. And we're like, if you like, it's like the TV station. You're watching a TV program, but there are many other TV programs still operating, but we can only watch one at a time, but they're all activated. So it's like all these other timelines out there, they're all there, but only one can be actually activated, and that's the life you have right now, the timeline you are in right now. Taking a breath in, noticing the center of your brain. We go through this process of receiving the awareness of what filters we have, more possibilities coming in, disconnecting from anything holding us back, or inviting in any frequencies we need to adapt to our new environment. And then with that, we move closer. And we start again. But the benchmark has risen. We have more freedom. We have more empowerment. We're lighter. And then we go again. And this is an infinite process. So if I could just bring into your awareness that it's not so much about movement to different timelines, realities, to our higher self. It's more about how we tune in to a better station than the one we're watching right now. And you'll find once that really comes in to you, for you, from your timeless self, you'll find you'll be able to maneuver much more efficiently between timelines. And you'll be able to be aware of the nuances that navigate what timeline you're tuning into. So we're not transforming, we're not healing, we're not fixing. We're transporting you into a whole new timeline, a whole new reality that serves you better. And then once we have made a certain amount of these shifts forward through the cycle, we get a bonus. For some of you, you're there. We get to expand into a whole new realm, a new consciousness. This is the one that's coming in actually for everybody here. Some just at different stages. The universe has already done it, so we have to follow suit. But we come into a whole new consciousness, much clearer, much more empowered. And we'll go into all the mechanics behind it, but we exist there with far less filters and equally far less possibilities because they're more defined for our authentic self. We don't need to have so many possibilities that are not who we are. And this is really where, when we're here, this is really where our studies begin. So as we take a deep breath in, and we're all going there, I'm just giving you a mind map. And for the eager ones, the ones who have that calling, you'll find you're more disciplined, you get called to meditate, you're aware. And for the ones who are not quite so focused, that's okay, you'll come as you release more filters. And by the way, this is the origin of the definition of addiction. Everything we have here comes from one source. Everything that comes in is to try to help us navigate to that center An origin of addiction is that very thing that when you get a taste, a glimpse, an experience of being an expression of your higher self, your timeless self, you get addicted to having even a clearer connection with your timeless self. That is the origin of addiction. What we've done is, because that is in fact the only thing we're really looking for, is that connection. But what we have done, the message has gotten a bit distorted because of the location we're in, space and time. We can go into that at another time. So we think we need something else to make us complete, and we go out and try and grab it, whether it's a relationship or money, power, alcohol, substances, great health. But that never will complete us. And as it never completes us, we think with the same naivety, we need more. So we're not in harmony as we take a breath in. And then this new consciousness I've just talked about, as there's less filters, less possibilities, less duality, we're in more harmony, where those extremities just simply don't exist. It's not that we have to fix it, change it, use self-will, self-control. They just don't exist in that atmosphere. So as we take a breath in and we really breathe in through our nose and notice any smells around us, and then notice where those smells are coming from. And noticing your right shoulder, you and your right shoulder, smells outside in that outer environment separate from you. The sounds around us, where are those sounds coming from? And then notice the tip of your nose, you in your nose, in that environment. The taste in your mouth, and noticing your chest area within those ribs. What is touching your skin right now? Is it a breeze, the fabric, the floor? Noticing what's touching your skin, and then noticing your belly button, you and your belly button, the floor, the fabric separate. And then opening your eyes and just looking at an object, noticing that object. It has no reference of you, it has no memory of you. Completely objective, the object. And then notice your whole spine, you and your spine, the core of the earth, secure, safe, grounded, in a position to expand with precision, so we don't get distorted like so many others have. This is where this new consciousness, the word new is new to us, but it's not so new. It's actually very ancient, but it's coming now for our access. But this is where these people like Einstein and Tesla, these geniuses, they managed to go there, tune into to that station, but then they couldn't come back with precision. So that's why they got so messed up. They were referred to as mentally ill. Many people who at least were in mental institutions, it's the reason why very highly gifted individuals just at that time just wasn't quite there yet with the technologies to be able to come back with precision. So that's what we do here. Everything I do is to make sure we're safe, so that when we expand, we can expand into those realms but we get to tune it back into this density, bring it back into this density so we can have the best possible life here and be happy and joyous and free. So that was spatial referencing what I was doing, and that again is a great thing to bring you here back in your body using your 5 physical senses. I would recommend doing that as often as you can. It's your GPS, and then it just becomes a default setting for you. So even when you go off, you have that autocorrect, you come back. Sanity is restored. And with that, I'll see you all next week.